And on the Viewpoint today, we want to talk about something that's quite unlikely. All right? When was the last time you broke a record? Just asking you as a viewer, when was the last time you broke a record? Yes, so today we want to talk about record-breaking officers. And when you talk about record-breaking officers, academically, most people perceive police officers as people who've never gone to school. They were just picked randomly from the streets, and they were taken to Kiganjo or, Embakasi, or to any barracks or any training college, and here they are. But that is not the reality on the ground. Things have changed, and we are in a different era altogether. Because reasoning has also changed. We are in a digital era, and the way civilians relate with police officers must also change. And on that note, today on our Viewpoint, I'm privileged to have one and only Dr. Resila A. Onyago, who is a PhD holder in Kenya, the first police officer in Kenya in 115 years. Where were you in 115 years ago? Okay, we'll find out that. And of course, we also have police spokesperson Bruno Shioso joining me once again. Karibuni sana. Starting with you, Bruno, welcome.
Thank you so much.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
Nice being on the set again with you.
Yes.
Early in the year. And also I bring the greetings of National Police Service.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the Inspector General of Police. Thank you.
Please pass our regards as well.
I will.
We appreciate. And
definitely.
The lady of the moment, Resila Onyago. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Victor.
Yes.
And thank you to KBC for hosting me today.
Karibu sana. And how about your new year?
Happy New Year.
Yes.
Yes, you began well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are the lady of the moment, so to speak. I would just put it this way, that most people did know about you until your graduation last year. In just like 2 minutes, who is Resila, Daktari?
Dr. Resila, my name you've stated. I'm a police officer. I graduated in 2018 actually, and as you said, I've been quiet.
Yes.
Because I do my part, I continue with my work, which is the police work. Yeah. So currently I work as the Deputy Director of Planning at the Inspector General's office.
Yes.
And I've been there quite a few months because for almost the last 2 years, I've been working with Interpol.
Yes.
As a criminal intelligence officer for the Eastern African Bureau for East Africa. Yeah.
It sounds, when I was going through your background and your resume, I read about it until I think I dozed off. Until I dozed off. Just to give you a brief, until August 2021, you are the criminal intelligence officer on contract at the International Criminal Police Organization, that is Interpol, as well as an Ivy League graduate. And a PhD and Masters of Philosophy and in Criminal Justice from the Graduate Center, John Jay. I dozed off. I dozed off. Perhaps your background, did you ever want to be a police officer, just to start?
Interesting. The first I wanted to be a military officer, actually. When I was in high school, I was nicknamed Langata Barracks. I was a prefect throughout my school, high school. So, but the police, I have the passion for the police, and it came from the police women. I saw the traffic police women on the street. They had red eyes, and I felt they are very tough with those red eyes. I didn't know the value, the meaning behind those red eyes until I joined the police and discovered it because we sleep less.
So, and you work hard.
And then the passion for the police came, and it was very strong. And so when I did join the military, I joined the police. And I joined the police when I was already a graduate with my first degree from Oloo University. And then from there, I've gotten the opportunities to go and study, further my studies. And those universities you mentioned, I have 2 master degrees and the PhD, of course. I did all my graduate schools in the United States of America, and so the first one, which is Master of Science in Criminology, is the one I did in the Ivy League University, which is the University of Pennsylvania. Then I went back for the Master of Philosophy and the PhD in Criminal Justice. So the umbrella university is the City University of New York, but then I learned the scholarship for the PhD came from the Graduate Center, which is within the City University of New York. But then we are taught at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice and the Graduate Center. So that's why you have all those three universities appearing.
You know, it's quite interesting because when you joined Police College in Kiganjo, you are the top recruit way back then as the recruits. How did it turn out from Moi University? First of all, from village in Siaya County, you went to Luak Girls and Moi University, graduated then to Police College in Kiganjo in 2003. That's almost 19 years ago. And through the ranks, you've risen and kept on studying even at work. Starting from Kiganjo, how was it then that you emerged top recruit that year, and now you've metamorphosed to who you are today?
That's a good question. And just to mention the primary school, I was in a very small, remote school.
I worked shout out to the primary school.
Ogea Primary School. It's somewhere in Ugenya, and I footed the school all through my life. And when we finished class 8 at that time, I was the best female student in 1992 when I finished. And the second overall. And so I got Luak Girls High School. Was a very top school at that time, you know. It still is. And very competitive to get. And I went to Luak Girls High School, did my best, and went to Moi University through the Joint Admissions Board. But then the passion for the school has always been with me, that I want to be a police officer. When I decided, okay, I can't get to the military. But this is things which I started as a kid. It's either I'll be military or I'll be a police. So I was comfortable with any of them. So when I go to the police, I knew I want to be a cop, but I was not comfortable with just being a cop, and that is it. But then the education, the police has the provision for studies, especially graduate school. There is that room always. And so what I've done, if all my studies in the US are on scholarship, fully from the US. The first one was under Ford Foundation International Fellowships Program. Ford Foundation was here for 10 years when they were running that program. During those 10 years, I was the only police officer that got it from this country to do that scholarship. And so when I went to the University of Pennsylvania, and of course, you asked about Kiganjo. Kiganjo, when I joined already, I was a graduate with my first degree.
So you joined as a cadet?
No, as a recruit. Yes, I did that. I did the 9 months.
And way back then, I believe it was tough.
It was. It still is, but then it really was. So I did my 9 months, and immediately I joined the Kiganjo. The same day I arrived, I was appointed the overall squad leader for the female recruits.
Did they have an intelligence? How did that happen?
I don't know. They just saw me, and and I remember it was a female senior officer that said, today I have an overall squad leader, and that is how it was. And I was the best female shot in shooting, and I was the best female academics and all that. And that's how you end up being the overall stick woman. If you see them, they wear a red lanyard. So that's how you distinguish them. And that's how I ended up being the best, and was awarded by, you see, those ones who march very, very fast to go to be awarded by the president. During my time, I was the best female recruit.
Interesting. Bruno, it's, you know, when you have such brilliant brains in the police force, police service rather, it changes the entire narrative of how the service is way back then and where we are today. We are in 2022. When you have Dr. Resila in your office, of course, what does it send to the general public and even to the police service in general?
Yeah, great question, Victor.
Yes.
So much stuff is happening in the police service. Very good things that people don't know outside there. People, they just began by saying that most people believe police are those people just picked from the streets, brought to Kiganja for training or in Bakasa or whatever it is, but that's far from the truth. It's just only that in the National Police Service we are an equal, opportunity employer.
Yes.
So we shall try to pick, a representation of the society, the whole society, because we believe, as it's rightly said, that the public is the police and the police is the public.
Yes.
So we'll try to pick at least something from every other cohort.
Yes.
For the public. Having said that, the reality of the matter is we have officers with very great aptitudes in terms of intelligence, in terms of training, in terms of skills. And we try to do that balance. So here we have Resila, just as a good example of so many others that we have. And first, just to correct you, she's not the first PhD within the police. She's the first PhD female.
Yes.
But you have so many other PhDs male that already we have in the service. We have lots and tons of master's holders. Yes, still going through the programs for PhDs, for masters, and other, other levels. So what I'm saying is, in addition of being an equal opportunity employer, where people just want to talk about the D police officer, of which we agree we have some of them, because again they do a very great job. We have room for them. Yes. But we have other officers all through the academical spaces, up to the very top, like Resila here. And she's a very good example, just even within ourselves, because there are so many other officers who still have to take up that quest for education. They are again, a good example to the public to show that this is the face of police now and going forward. We're investing in knowledge. We want to be a knowledge organization, and we want to build the service based on the knowledge worker.
Because when right now, this is a question I even asked you last year, because when you go to a police station right now, most of the records are digitized. You will get literate police officers who either joined as cadets, who did IT, who did journalism as communication, who did information science and what have you, and they join police force, police service as cadets, and then when they come out, they get employed. They have the knowledge and they are able to relate to with the civilians and the public pretty well. Moving forward, how is it to you, Bwana Shioso, how is it that Mwananchi right now is able to relate with the police officers perfectly well as compared to years ago?
And this brings us now to this element of the police reforms.
Right.
Of course, by the nature of the police itself, and our history and our past, having been part of what we call the force, there was that kind of adjustment between the police and the public to make suspicion, to make distrust, and just based on the model of policing by that time. But then through this constitutional dispensation of the constitution, where actually the conversation was there between the police and the public themselves through that forum, and the people say that we want a responsive and responsible police. And that's what brought up the issue of the service. So the service, is being redesigned, being basically to focus on the client. We are trying to tell the officers, right from basic training through our curricula, that we are not there for any other person or for any other thing. We're there just to focus on the people. These are our customers. Let's go out of the way. Of course, we are law enforcers, but beyond law enforcement, police, we play in a very array of other services. Just beyond the law enforcement, because we are part of the justice system. We are, just policing itself again. We are peacemakers. So we have to change our focus. We have to change our paradigm from raw force to service oriented. And these are now things we are trying to embrace upon the officers. And try to retweak, the software of policing. That let's look at the publics as our employers, as our friends, as part of our community. And let's see how we can collaborate together for us to identify the problems within the society. We again jointly try to look for solutions. You see?
Yes.
We're not the experts.
Yeah.
We're just tools. I mean, you're just your tools, who dedicate all the time doing your work. But we have still to talk to you, to understand your fears, to understand your problems, and see how best we can be able to manage them. And this is the whole conversation around the community policing paradigm.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. The pressure must be so high on you right now. 115 years record, you must be going through a lot of pressure to maintain that.
You know, it shouldn't be.
Yes.
It's good for the service. It's good also for the girl child to know that in the National Police Service in Kenya, they can join and they can be anything they want to be.
They can be anything
they want to be. The police is very diverse. You can be a girl that dreams to be a pilot, you can be in the police. You can. You can be a girl that dreams to be an engineer, you can be in the police.
So being a police is a profession on its own. As opposed to the norm, you know, enda tu hiyo ni kazi tu kama kawaida to just go. It's a profession, and you say it's wide.
It's very wide, and there are some which expertise you have to be trained specifically to do some of the work, and of course there is the general police training. So it's good, and it's an encouragement, in my opinion, to the girl child to know that they can always be what they want to be. Other police female officers, in my opinion, and even the other male officers who are junior to me, many of them, the pressure that I would say is that I would be happy to see more of them. Not going necessarily for the PhD, but appreciating education and those who have the opportunity to go and embrace. Education is important for everybody. Very important. It opens your mind. It opens your way you interact with people, your network. And so that could be the message that it sends. Yes.
How would you want to impact your knowledge right now in the service? How would you love to impact even your colleagues in the service and even the general public and even people who are now still yearning to join the police service?
You know, I think so many mixed in one. I'm the police officer.
Yes.
That part of me is there. I'm a scholar. And with scholarship, with the PhD, you always want to do research.
Exactly.
So apparently, the support I've gotten, and this one I really must appreciate the police leadership from the IG. I've been supported to study.
Exactly.
As they are supporting other officers to study. Because I can, and even my dissertation when I did for the PhD, my sample came from the Kenya Police and the entire National Police Service. So that is much you can support one of your own with studying. And with the PhD, recently I have published one of my papers, and so I do research. I can inform policy, and it's, you know, when you publish, it's not for a particular group to read. It's everybody that is interested in the university will read or in academia. So that way, I think I'll impact through scholarship, and we are available to serve the nation in the capacity I can be called upon.
Yes. Yeah. And maybe just
exactly. Yes.
Well, you spoke about police being a profession. But I want just to maybe digress a bit by saying that police is even more than a profession. It is more than a profession because it gives latitude and room for officers to even pursue other professions from within.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you can see Resila, she's a cop, but she's decided to pursue against scholarship, by the way. The other people you find they are pilots, others are doctors.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the service.
Yeah, within the service.
Yes.
We have lawyers. Yeah. We have, so many, forensics people, so many other, array of people. So you can still be a police officer, you're pursuing, police work as best as you can. But at the same time, again, you're still, within it, you're still practicing your profession again.
And there's room for that in the service.
And there's room for that. And it gives you room to grow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because, many people think that if you're a police officer, that's it.
No.
No.
And a good example, I've been teaching at USIU.
Yeah.
I thought at
Yeah, part of your resume says that you're a lecturer as well.
Yeah. You know, when I was in the police college, I worked in the National Police Service College. You know, it used to be called Loresho campus. Yes. So it's a master program for police officers. We ran for a whole year, and we collaborate with the UK and the Kenyan police. So as a lecturer, when I'm there, I was also teaching at USIU.
Allow me to take a break before I'm given a lecture by my director here. We are taking a very short break. We've just started. Today we want to demystify the whole myth behind the police service. You know, you can't be a police officer at the same time you're a lecturer. We'll be discussing more when we come back after this break. Stick around. And welcome back. And in studio, I have with me Dr. Resila Onyago, who is a Senior Superintendent of Police and who is also a PhD holder and the police service, as well as police spokesperson Bruno Shioso. Before we took a break, you were talking about something to do with the representation in the police service. Perhaps you can just pick it there, because when you talk of the representation right now, the gender balance, most people think that you know, it's only a job meant for men, but that is not the entire truth. Right?
Yeah, but it's true.
Yes.
Police worldwide, not just in Kenya, is traditionally male dominated.
Exactly.
Yeah, because police is paramilitary, so that's what it has been. And even if you look at the country itself, is patriarchal in nature largely, but things are changing. And so if you look at the police even around the world, worldwide, representation of women in the police is usually very low. Yeah, it's still very low, and so many departments of police are all trying to bring that number up. And so Kenya is doing quite well compared to, when you look at empirical data or studies, Kenya is doing quite well, because we have almost around 14 to 15% representation of women, and in many countries it's hardly 5%. So this has been very deliberate move through during recruitments or promotion. You get that the women have more representation.
Exactly. Bruno, your office is just
maybe before that, let me just say something about
from there.
The gender question. Yeah, the way the doctor just said, Kenya, we're doing really very well globally by global standards. Like when you go to the UN, their policies are what you call the parity, gender parity, 50-50. That's the new Secretary General, and he's really trying to push it, and he's really doing very well. Kenya, by virtue of our constitution, we talk about the affirmative action. At least we are trying to push to 30%, but you can see we are doing somewhere close to around, we are midway there, around 15%, which is really good. And as we are trying to push numbers for female right from the bottom, through enlistment, we are again trying to push them through promotions at all levels.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you for sure, if you look at all the data, you'll find that Kenya has a higher representation of female in those high levels. High levels. Right from, Assistant Inspector General of Police, assistants, going downwards. So we try to push as many women, and not just out of tokenism, because we're trying to fulfill a requirement. No, out of competence, out of skills.
Out of merit.
These are women who merit those positions. Give them a task, they do it very well. I can give you some very good examples. Go to the APS. We have an all-gender female SWAT team. You know what a SWAT team is?
Yeah,
it's like a cobra.
Exactly.
If you work the cobras.
Yes.
All female SWAT team. No, there's no male there, right from the commander, bottom. The other day, I was running, I ran a kind of a tweet, just on our beautiful police music, from the band. The top lady, very senior, AIG. AIG is Assistant Inspector General of Police. She's an AP woman, commanding the band. Go to Western region.
Yes.
The police, the police what we used to call the PPO, now is a regional police commander. She's a female. And there's so many, at county levels.
Yes.
Go to the directors, at headquarters, flooded by women. Even in GSU, which is, like now, a kind of a military unit, which is a paramilitary. There's a female commissioner of police, very top there, who's a hard-nosed commander. So what I'm saying is we're really trying to make sure that we're giving female within the police service as a policy of the Inspector General equal footing. But of course, as she said rightly, already police historically was a male space. Yeah. So we're trying now to bring more numbers from below, but those which are already there, we're trying again to push them up through merit, not tokenism. Our constitution is also, perceived to be one of the most advanced constitutions. Very progressive. Yeah, very. Yeah.
So we just have to go with the constitution, because if you don't do as per the constitution, you'll be called to answer so many questions.
But what I'm saying, I want to stress that as we are going with the constitution, it's not just a matter of the constitution fulfilling the requirements. We're trying to look for competency.
Exactly.
And they are competent. You'll see a woman who's on OCS, on OCBD, a county commander, or whatever. She's in that office not just because she's trying to fulfill a requirement of constitution, but because she deserves being in that position, or even much more.
Absolutely.
They are doing a great job.
You talked
alongside men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You talked of being a lecturer. Yes. Allow me to understand this. When you walk into a classroom, paint for me a picture when you walk into a classroom. Do they see you as a police officer, or as their teacher, as their lecturer? What is the student-lecturer relationship like?
It's a university. Now here I wear my hat as a lecturer.
Yes.
But it is an advantage to the universities. Why? Because when you criminal justice field, where I am, or criminology, it's a new field in Kenya.
Yeah.
And if you have practitioners coming from the field with the knowledge and the expertise to teach, I think it's such a plus for those universities. And this one I learned in the US, where I learned, because in the United States they bring the criminal justice experts to talk with the students. And so you'll have from the prison heads, you have the police chiefs, you have everybody across the board. You'll have the court sending the judges to come and speak with the students.
Yes.
And so that to me is I've walked into those classrooms, and when they wouldn't know I'm a police officer, and
they see you as a lecturer. That's it.
Yeah, at some point.
So today you exposed yourself. Your students are seeing you live today.
At some point they know. At some point, one or two will always know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and this just brings the aspect of now many students are now studying criminal justice in the country. What is the total number, an average number of students in your class?
When I was at USIU, I would have about 30 students, depending on the course.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are core courses which would have as much as that. Some courses would have the minimum university requirements. Yeah.
But Bruno, your offices must be a very busy office.
Very busy, yeah.
Does it give you pressure? Because from where we are right now, there's a lot of pressure in the service. Literally, when you have brilliant brains like yours today here, it must be giving a lot of pressure even to people who are aspiring to get into the service.
Yeah, there is so much pressure in my office.
Yes.
Because like a focal point, so many other issues. But I thank the leadership of the IG and his DIGs, because they really support me to make sure that I deliver. And again, I have a very, I have a very small team, but very dedicated, well trained. If they came to this studio, they'll give you a run for your money. Because they are trained. Actually, in my office, I'm the only person who's not a trained journalist. But the rest of the young boys over there.
Wow, that's
very smart
amazing.
Boys who've gone to school, done journalism.
Yeah.
So they are doing an amazing job supporting me. And then again, I've tried to cultivate a very, good relationship with my colleagues, and I'm trying to push it again outside to the publics. You see, so there's so much work, too much pressure. But I know when you have all this support, then you get the comfort, And then when you're doing something that you feel is impacting positively, it gives you again that joy I mean, that satisfaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my situation. But so far, so good. We're up to the task. Yeah.